Story 1. Customer wants her sensors off. Okay, but I need to verify your receipt. Context. This customer is notorious for being rude to my workers, and some have even complained she might be racist. Incident. She complained about a cashier and said, "The black girl with the poofy hair," and is only nice to my Caucasian worker. Karen, name for obvious reasons, came in, stopped me, and asked, "Are you the manager?" "Yes, how can I help you?" I guess she didn't hear me, and she responded, "Are you the manager?" "Yes, what do you need?" She said she had a problem and then stormed off to the registers. I followed. Karen then goes into a tirade. "I bought these, and the girl didn't give me my paper receipt. I asked for it, and she didn't. And then she was rude and left the sensors on these. I had to call customer service and wait on hold for them to send me my receipt. She should have given me my paper receipt, and now I want these off." "Sure thing," I told her. "I'm sorry about the sensors. Let me just see your receipt." She shows me the receipt off her phone, and I see she had a member number at the top. I begin to let her know that she didn't need to contact customer service, and we would have been able to look up her transaction. Karen interrupts me and says, "I don't care, I wanted a paper receipt." I understand. What I'm just trying to explain is, Karen, no, you're not helping. I just want the sensors of and my paper receipt. Me, okay, ma'am, I can help you with that. I just wanted to let you know we have the ability to get your receipt in store. You didn't need to wait for them to send you a receipt, Karen. You're not being helpful. Just do your job. I'm not going to argue with you. She's yelling all her responses to me. Me, that's fine. I'm not trying to argue. However, if you continue being rude, I won't help you, and you'll have to go to another store. Then something clicked in my head about a malicious compliance. I read about a lady counting coins one by one, just to be petty. So I out on my best customer service voice, Quess, malicious compliance. I asked to see her phone for the receipt, and she's holding it in front of me. Me, it's dim. Can you make it brighter? She does. Me, I can't seem to find it. Can you scroll down? Karen, you can touch my phone. Me, sorry, I'd rather not. I don't want to hurt it. Karen, mad scrolls down. Me taking a full minute to scan, looking for the shirt that she bought to confirm purchase before removing sensor. I can't see it. Maybe you scrolled too fast. Can you scroll back up? Karen, this is ridiculous. Can you look it up on your side then? Me, of course, that's why we always ask for an email to hold receipts in case you don't get a paper copy. Luckily, the phone I was using was stuck on loading. So I sat there for a few more minutes and told her, "Sorry, I have to get another phone. This one doesn't work." I get another phone. It loads up. I spent about 3 more minutes typing in her email one letter at a time. After all, I had to make sure I typed it in correctly. I ended up spending a good 5 more minutes just scrolling on the phone, pretending to look for her receipt. Me, found it. Now let me see if this is on it, Karen. Here is the tag. Me, unfortunately, ID the tag isn't on the garment. I have to verify off the tag inside. Sorry, the numbers are pretty small. Just give me another moment. 2 minutes verifying. Perfect. I'll take that sensor off. Going through to the last shirt was only 2. I backed out of my store app. Me, oh darn. My phone froze and it closed out. "In going to need your email again, Karen. Didn't I just give it to you?" Me, yes, but I try not to remember customer emails. You know, privacy reasons. Karen gives me the email but says it this time. Me, can you slow down and spell it, please? Another couple of minutes go by, and oops, I need to find the receipt again. Find the receipt. After some time, me, oh, I found it. No, wait, that's a different shirt. One moment, Karen. the tags on this one, so you can see the numbers better. Me, oh thank you, but I already had found the inside tag. I'll just go off that instead. Me, I can't seem to find it, Karen. I'll just look for it on my receipt. What am I looking for, me? The product number. Good idea, using the tag. Better to read the numbers. Karen, after a few more minutes. Here, I found it. Shows me her phone. Me, could you hold your hand steady? I can't read the numbers. Pretend to focus my eyes. Me, oh, there it is. Okay, let me get this last sensor off for you. Fiddle with the sensor for a bit, and finally get it off. Give her bag back, and told her to have a great day. All in all, what could have been a 1-minute interaction turned into me wasting 30 minutes of her time. I'm just glad to have been able to provide a thorough and positive service to my customer. Story 2. Work from home on Thursdays and Fridays only. There's not much to say here. I work for a tech company that sells MacBooks and Chromebooks and miscellaneous things to schools. There is a rule in place that says we are not allowed to work from home under any circumstances, with the exception of Thursdays and Fridays if you don't have any meetings or the such. Yesterday we got a bunch of quotes from one of our distributors, and the aim of today was to get all the SKUs and codes into our system for one of the bigwig expensive Catholic schools. And these codes came in extremely last minute, like, we have 6 working hours to fill out everything. I did what I could yesterday and told my manager that I would have to do the rest tomorrow since it was late notice. Today, the internet is down at work. The quote for approximately 1.5 M worth of stock is due in 2 hours, and to be honest, I'd be more inclined to hotspot my phone to get this work done if they paid me more than the bare minimum and gave me a phone allowance. My previous pay evaluations were all rejected, and if I'm contributing 5 to 10% gross profit margins on literal millions, you'd think there was at least commission. Ah well, if only I could go home to use my working internet, or got $5 to $10 a month for my month bill so that I could get this done via hotspot. Oh well. Edit. Just got a scathing phone call that the deadline was missed and was asked for an explanation. I told them straight that I couldn't access our systems. They asked why I didn't hotspot and told them I don't have a company phone, nor do they give any money to my phone bill. It's also a data risk if my phone is compromised. I've never felt so powerful sticking up to the wanker in a new BMW every year. Kinda feels nice. Update 2. There is no update. I have 3 hours left of this 9 to 5, and we still have no internet. At this point, they've told us all to WFH, so I'm just about to pack my laptop up and head off so I can do something. Bit late, but also, most people aren't even aware of this because they sent it in an email. How do I know this? I get a Teams notification whenever I get an email from internal people at the company, which doesn't help when nobody in the damn office has internet. Might get a coffee. It's hard work, doing fuck all. After that, I'll head home. Also, a surprising amount of people. To those interested in the game, I mentioned in the comments, I'm not sure how I'll monetize it. Probably make it a free download on GameJolt or something with an option for people to donate to a Ko-fi. I doubt my first game will actually be crazy good. We'll see. First job is to actually get a playable demo out. Story 3. You want me to ask every customer? I originally posted this as a comment in Arshiona's Retail Hell, but was told to repost here. I was once failed by a secret shopper about 30 years ago, when I worked at a now gone New England convenience store deli chain. I was the only person in the store, stocking, ringing, and working the deli. I was also acting ASM without pay or title, but all the responsibility doing inventory and making orders. I was failed for not asking a secret shopper if they wanted anything from behind the counter, tobacco, lottery, and various high-theft health and beauty items, etc. My boss told me I needed to offer every customer something from behind the counter, no matter who. They didn't care what I offered. I said no problem. I went back to work, and the boss went into his office. My very next customer was a local priest buying bread. As I rung him up, I asked if he was all set. He said he was. I asked if he was sure he didn't need any lottery tickets or condoms. If he didn't get lucky with one, he may with the other. He turned red, said he was fine, quickly paid, and left. My boss yelled from the office I was now exempt from having to push items from behind the counter. I knew I would never get fired because of all the stuff I did that was above my pay grade while trying to make a good impression. Story 1. Manager gets himself in trouble. It was during the financial crisis in 2009. I was newly graduated and couldn't find a teaching job anywhere around me, so I got a paraprofessional job, teaching assistant, but more working with kids rather than doing mindless tasks. It didn't pay enough, so I became a waitress at a banquet hotel. I found myself working 7 days a week sometimes for months on end. I told the manager there were certain days I wanted off, but he never complied. Multiple times I told him I needed rest, and he didn't listen. No surprise, I developed bronchitis. I told him I had bronchitis and was told I shouldn't be giving people food. I had a doctor's note saying I shouldn't work. He didn't accept it and said I had to go in. So I did. It just so happened the hotel manager and owner did a surprise observation that day. They heard my cough. I told them I had bronchitis. They asked why I was there. I told them the truth, and the manager's texts saying I still had to come in. The manager and I were pulled into an office. I was sent home and ordered not to come back for 2 weeks. My manager was written up for not following health standards. I quit 2 weeks later. My last day, the manager asked me to come in the next day because they would be swamped. If he had asked a week before, I would have said yes. The last day, though? No. I never went back. Story 2. You can't use that phone. Teacher in an early primary state. Back in the 1980s, candidates spent a lot of shoe leather looking for votes, and one way was to speak at schools in between shaking hands at factory entrances and going to Rotary luncheons. A colleague was in the middle of class when a minor candidate, but the governor of a state, walked into his class and said, "Excuse me, I need to use your phone. I'm in the middle of class and you can't use that phone." The governor looked a little shocked, and there was a standoff until the central office assistant superintendent of whatever said, "It will only be a minute." My friend asked if he needed privacy. The governor nodded. "Okay, class is over," my friend said, looking at the admin. "Head on down to the cafeteria and we'll just have a study hall, since this call is more important than my class." As the kids left, the governor picked up the phone and waited, and waited. Then he asked, "How do I get an outside line?" "You can't," he said. "It's an internal phone." "I told you, you can't use that phone." And off he went for a little break. Story 3. Swimming too fast? Have fun suffering. The other day, I was at my local pools. I looked over all the open lanes, searching for an uncrowned lane to do some laps. Out of the available lanes, one had 3 people and another had 1. Like any reasonable person, I hopped into the lane with only a single other person and began to do my laps. On my first lap, I overtook the other person and was told, quite aggressively, that the fast lane is over there, pointing to the lane with 3 people in it. I'm usually a fast swimmer, but the lap I did was average, if not slow. Before I continue, I should mention that literally every other slow person that I've swum with had been completely okay with me swimming fast. Where I swim, there is also an unofficial custom that when 2 people are in a lane, you swim side by side instead of the usual clockwise circle. This person was not okay with me swimming quickly, was very rude in telling me to move to a more crowded lane, and was, in fact, a very slow swimmer. Well, I thought to myself, I'm definitely not moving to a more crowded lane. I guess I should start swimming slower to appease her. I guess since my shoulder really hurts from my competition the other day, and I definitely don't want to injure it more, I should do some relaxing kicking. And that's exactly what I did. I did kick. Now, my kick is definitely not fast, but I purposely did it even slower, because obviously, this is the slow lane. My kick was so slow, the person started overtaking me. I made sure that they suffered. I would start when they were very close to the wall to force them to slow down, and I would swim in such a way that they didn't have enough space to overtake me. The best thing happened about 10 minutes after I started my malicious compliance. 2 other old-timers jumped into our lane. Now, I started swimming in such a way that I would be next to the old-timers in a way that suggested that I was overtaking them. But I never seemed to be quite fast enough to actually overtake them. How unfortunate. This formed a wall, and I would occasionally look back to see the person stopping every few seconds to not run into anyone, looking annoyed every time they had to do so. Eventually, they got so fed up that they hopped out, and as soon as they did so, I started swimming at my normal pace again, making sure that every time I finished a lap, I would make eye contact to further annoy them. The old-timers weren't upset that I was swimming faster. In fact, no one who jumped into that lane was. I hope that person learns their lesson and never tries to tell anyone that they are swimming too fast aggressively every again. I would like to point out that I have no issue moving to another lane or sticking to one side of my lane, but I definitely have an issue with aggression.